Set in New York City, a young, happily married couple, Guy and Rosemary Woodhouse, move into a new apartment next door to an old, friendly, but yet very eccentric couple, Minnie and Roman Castevet. Rosemary then becomes pregnant, and the Castevets start taking a special interest in her welfare. Throughout Rosemary's pregnancy, she becomes isolated, strange things happen to people she loves, and she suspects the Castevets are not what they seem. At the end of the film, the mysteries and reasons behind Rosemary's horrific ordeal are revealed, leaving us audiences into complete shock. The Castevets and their circle of friends leave Rosemary no choice but to take care of her newborn baby, who is not the child she dreamed of. The Castevets have succeeded their evil plans. I absolutely love how this scene was written, acted and directed. The less visual detail makes it all the more amazing because of the characters' use of excellent dialogue and acting. Every time I watch this film, this scene always gives me goosebumps, and also leaves me feeling so sorry for Rosemary because she is a lovely character who didn't deserve this awful burden. This scene is one of the most iconic scenes in film history, and I'm not surprised why. What an incredibly powerful ending. The film's main character is Paul Conroy, who's an American contractor truck driver working for a charitable company in Iraq. Him and his convoy are attacked by a group of unknown assailants, and he regains consciousness hours later. He finds out that he is buried underground in a wooden coffin. He finds a Zippo lighter and a mobile phone. Whilst trying to seek help, the people who buried him get in contact, putting him into ransom of $1 million. If he doesn't get the money, he will be buried in the coffin forever. The most amazing aspect of this film is that it is literally set in just a coffin, also making us audiences feel incredibly claustrophobic. Ryan Reynolds nails his role as a generally decent character who us audiences really feel for and who we want to make it through to the end. What makes this one of my most all-time favourite endings is that at the very last minute he is led to believe that he will survive. However, the unknown assailants win because they mislead Paul's saviours, leaving him to his demise. Within that very last minute is one of the most tense and heartbreaking moments I've ever seen on screen. It's literally a massive gut punch, but it's amazingly done. Set in South Korea, a man named Oh Dae-soo gets kidnapped by unknown captors and is imprisoned without a word of explanation. 15 years later, he's all of a sudden released, and then gets a phone call by his kidnapper, setting him on a task to find out the reason why he was captured. He has 5 days to complete the task until the kidnapper commits suicide. This is one of the only films where I simply must not say much about it without giving too much away, because this is one of the most well-made, shocking endings I've ever watched. It literally had my jaw dropping to the floor. Let me just say that everything comes into place amazingly. The plot focuses on two homicide detectives, Detective Somerset and Detective Mills, who are racing against time to track down a serial killer who uses the 7 deadly sins on his victims. One of the most amazing aspects of this film is that it focuses on the aftermath of the killings, so an actual murder is never shown on screen. It focuses more on solving the puzzles that keep you hooked from the first minute of the film with very strong characters. The climax of the film, the final piece of the killer's puzzle, does not leave Somerset and Mills unscathed, which means he won from the very start. Every time I watch this ending, my flesh gets covered in goosebumps, my eyes widen in shock, and I'm left in awe on how well the conclusion was put together. This ending has remained one of my all-time favourites for a very long time, and will continue to do so. Again, I cannot spoil much of this ending, but I tell you, you've got to watch this film, it's amazing. Two men wake up in a dirty bathroom, having no recollection of how they got there. They discover a dead body, a tape recorder and 2 separate tapes. When they listen to their tapes, they immediately find out that they're a part of a game perpetrated by the infamous Jigsaw Killer. They must find a way to escape before they suffer deadly consequences. The most unique aspect of this film is that the villain isn't a typical serial killer from any old slasher film. He captures victims and puts them into traps of which they can escape from. They would be seriously injured, but they have chances of survival. Jigsaw makes them choose if they want to go through with it or to stay and die. This, I think, is the strongest point of the film. Like Seven, the film is like a puzzle, and at the end, everything fits into place, and it's my most favourite ending. Not only is it fantastically written, it's also a discovery that none of us audiences were prepared for, giving us no clue to begin with whatsoever. Us audiences can share that impact with one of the main characters, where he finds out the whole truth behind this event, including Jigsaw's identity. The game has been won, with one simple but haunting quote, trapping the victim and hearing him scream as the credits roll. What an incredible ending. Every time I see this film, it always feels like I'm watching it for the first time. The ending always leaves me in absolute awe. So there you have it, they are my top 5 best films where the villains win. I highly recommend these fantastic films. I hope you all enjoyed the video.